Call the meeting to order. Bang of the gavel. The village of Saywood would respectfully acknowledge the land that we're gathered on in the unceded traditional territory of the Comox First Nation, the traditional keepers of this land. And we call to order and introduction of late items. Councillor Paulson?
Yes, I'd like to introduce discussion on the status of the share shed.
Okay, and where would you like to speak about that? Under unfinished business? We'll go to unfinished business on that.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, perfect. Any other late items? Nope. No. Okay. Approval of agenda.
No.
Recommended resolution. So we're okay? Okay, there we go. Okay, recommended resolution that the agenda for the regular council meeting for January 18th, 2022 be approved. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Minutes of the previous meeting, recommended resolution that the special council meeting held on January 11th, 2022 be approved. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll move that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Nope. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Petition and delegations, we have none. Correspondence, does anybody have any correspondence they want pulled?
No.
Okay, so correspondence is accepted. Under council reports. Okay, one moment, please. Thank you. And reports of committees. Anybody have a committee meeting?
No, not yet.
Right. The mayor's report. We'll save the CAO thing for the in-camera at this point. Okay, and we're going to go to unfinished business. Councillor Paulson.
Yes. I'm speaking on behalf of Sayward Futures, and the the employee that the fifth employee that we've hired under our Canada employment grants has been given the okay to clean out the share shed. And I was hoping that the share shed would reopen once we can get clearance and run it according to COVID protocol. So I would like to ask that the staff provide some history on the beginnings of the share shed and how it was funded and run, and if we could get that information and then make a decision on as a council on what's the process for reopening it, or even deciding on whether it will reopen or what will happen to the building. And there's still a lot of good contents inside the shed. There is no, absolutely no smell or appearance of any rodent infestations. A lot of the things are damp and there's mold around, but no sign of any rodents or destruction by vermin. So if we could find out who was operating the share shed, how it was funded, and whether that could be something to continue in the future. If Sayward Futures had the opportunity to run the share shed, then they would be glad to do that. Would be happy to find some employment for some person to operate it. So that's, if anybody else has any input or information on what should happen, what they think should happen with the share shed, I'd like to hear it. I've personally had a lot of questions and comments from the community on when the share shed is going to open and people looking forward to it. I think it's a good project to run in Sayward. It recycles a lot of things that would have gone to the landfill instead, and it provides reusable things for other people that have need for them. So I would like to see the share shed reopen and continue to be run or to operate.
I agree. I mean, I think the sheriff said when it was in operation had use and had value to a lot of the people in the community. So what you're suggesting is there's an opportunity for Sayward Futures to take over the sheriff shed in terms of content and staffing it. Is that correct?
Yes. No, well, and
Okay,
I understand that the person that was running the share shed was doing that as a sideline to manage the recycling. So if there was a chance that the funding that was available for reimbursing that person to manage the recycling depot could be allocated to an employee that would work or would be employed by Sayward Futures.
from what I understand, that the CFO just mentioned is that Howie was not getting paid to operate the share shed. He was strictly a volunteer. However, in my opinion, if the Sayward Futures, and I'll get the rest of the council to jump in on that, if Sayward Futures wants to take over the share shed in terms of the content and the operation of and hiring staff for it at no additional cost to the village, and the village would still own the shed itself, I don't have any issue with that at all. Does Councillor Tinsley, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I found it very positive. We've donated and bought some things there, but I think it's important that we, like when you could make a donation if if you had wanted to donate, and I forget where it went. I think somebody said the Legion, or I don't know, but just to get a quick rundown on like that, everything Sue talked about, and then the positives and negatives, because I think Sayward Futures would also want to know, like the negatives of it, in the sense of, my understanding was sometimes things were just kind of left there that really couldn't be used or shared, that type of thing. But maybe that's just common in the recycling area. But as a whole, yeah, I'm totally in agreement. Get a little more information, and I'd like to see it operate again if possible.
Thank you. Councillor Kirshner?
Yeah, I just got input from my boss here, and she and I both agree it should continue to operate. It serves a it serves a value.
So,
Thank you.
further information that I would like to have clarified is, I thought that, Waste Management, had, put that building there for, a recycle, like a, sort of like a little restore share shed. And I understood that Howie was paid by Comox Strathcona Wage Management to manage the recycling depot. So if we could get clarification
Yeah,
on that.
You are correct that he was paid by, for the work that he did with the recycling and the recycling only.
Yes.
Yes, and that he continues with.
Oh, he's continuing to do that?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, he continues with that. He just doesn't, of course, there's nothing with the share shed. That could be a separate entity altogether.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll get whatever other information that you stated, and we'll bring this to the next council meeting.
All right.
Sound good?
That
Yep.
sounds great. Thank you.
Do you want to clarify the information you're looking for again? Please, Councillor Polson?
Well, I just wanted to know what the status of where the share shed came from, what its purpose was, that it was put on the village property, and if the village owns it and supplies the electricity and that sort of thing for. So how does that all work? And I know the income from it, or the donations from it, could be part of the stipend for the person running it, which would provide employment. It's like 6 hours a week.
Okay, the building is owned by the village, and the village does pay for the electrical,
Okay.
for the power source there. So that's what the village has. So now we can entertain, if all your questions are answered, Councillor Polson, we could entertain a motion on having the share shed content and being managed by Seaward Futures right now. We could
Okay.
put that forth if you're comfortable with it, or we can wait a week or 2 weeks, pardon me.
I think if we make a motion, if we put a motion forth now and then get the more information in 2 weeks, and see about the financing, and because I know the donation part went to the Legion, I believe. As a,
Yes, yeah, the donations did go to the Legion.
yeah.
However, you could have the, I'm sorry, Councillor Kirschner, could you turn your volume off, please? Okay. So what I'm suggesting is Seaward Futures could look at, for example, it doesn't necessarily all have to go to the Legion. What it could do is it could go to, the Seaward Food Bank, for example.
Mhm.
Right? It doesn't, there is no contract saying that it has to go to one or the other. So that would be a decision that Seaward Futures could make. If you're going to manage the content, manage with the people, then you guys can make, that Seaward Futures can make the decision on to whom the charity money goes to.
Okay, that's good.
That sound
That's-
reasonable?
That sounds, yes.
Okay, so I'd like to put a motion on that the share shed be managed and operated by Seaward Futures in terms of content and staffing as well. And of course, the building itself is still owned by the village. So do I have a motion, please?
I'll move that.
Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? We've lost Councillor Kirschner, so we're going to just call that carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. 11. We're going to go to the Plan H Healthy Communities Grant. The recommended resolution is that the notice regarding the Kindling
Kindling.
Community Kindness Project be placed in a monthly Sayward News on social media to garner interest and volunteers from the community. So do I have a motion, please?
I'll move that.
Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion? No discussion. Opposed? Pardon me. All in favor? We'll start there. All in favor? Opposed? I'm sorry, Councillor Postler, were you opposed?
Me? No,
You voted for.
I'm in
No,
favor.
in favor? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. And still, we've lost Councillor Kirschner. Okay, Councillor Kirschner, can you hear us?
I think he's had to step away.
Okay, well, that motion is carried. Okay. Next
And I heard
is the recommended resolution. Okay, thank you. That Sayward Future Society and the village work together over the next several months to carry out project goals. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll move that.
Second. Councillor Kirschner? I don't know if that's a conflict of interest for Councillor Polson to actually vote
Oh.
on, CFO.
All right.
Should she be voting on anything to do with Sayward Futures? Probably not. Okay, so Councillor Kirschner?
I'm in agreement.
Thank you. So discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. B is the notice of adjudication system, recommended resolution that the bylaw notice adjudication system be revisited in 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that.
Second?
I'll second it.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Discussion. Can I get clarification exactly what that means, please? Moving it to 2023? Adjudication on everything or? Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just, that would be moving the whole topic to 2023. So right now, council has a ticketing bylaw in place. And as you can read in the report that I prepared, the
Yes.
bylaw enforcement adjudication system is just an extra system that council can implement. But my thoughts were, because you just implemented the ticketing bylaw, see how it goes for 2022. How many tickets are being issued? Are people paying tickets? Are you taking people to court? Once you have some data, revisit this new system.
Okay. So all in favor? Opposed? Hearing none. Motion carried. Okay, Council Procedure Amendment Bylaw 479, 2022. Recommended resolution that the procedure amendment bylaw for numbers 479, 2022 be given first, second, and third reading. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion is carried. Any new business? No new business tonight. This is, I'm going to start slowing down my speech because this is going way too fast. Sorry, it's only like 20 after here. So public question period is a maximum of 15 minutes. The purpose of the public question period is to enable citizens to ask questions of council about issues that are important to the citizens asking the question. Speakers are asked to limit their question to one each, and if time permits, after everyone who's had the opportunity to ask questions, speaker may ask a second question. Citizen may be asked to state their name or will be asked to state their name and address. Do we have anybody online? Anything submitted in writing? Nope. Okay. So next, we're going to be going into in camera and the recommended resolution that in accordance with section 92 of the community charter, this council meeting will be closed to the public in time in order to order council may give consideration to matter in accordance with section 90-1C of the community charter to discuss labor relations and other employee relations. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that.
Second?
I will second that.
Do I have a second? Oh, there we go. Thank you. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none. Motion carried. The regular council meeting is now adjourned.